Feel the grip of the oar handle, smooth yet firm in your hands. Taste the salt of your own sweat and the occasional splash of water. It's all part of the journey. Welcome to another episode of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. Each week, our host, Masters rowing coach Rebecca Caro, dives deep into the world of Masters rowing. Whether you're on the water or in the gym, join us to become a faster master. Let's go rowing.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Faster Masters Rowing Radio. I'm Rebecca Caro, and today we've got an interesting topic that's probably on point for 99.9% of us. How do we stay mobile as we age? Mobility, flexibility, are they the same thing? What can we do about them? We all know that our mobility and our flexibility changes. You might do a tough rowing workout and the next morning you think, or actually usually 2 mornings afterwards, because you've got delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS, you think, my body feels tight, it feels tense, it feels like it isn't my normal body. So what are the things that we can do about mobility, and what are the things that we can do about flexibility? Let's start by thinking about why this is important to us. We want to row, we want to scull. That's why you're probably here listening to me today. And hello to all of our live listeners. Mobility and flexibility are often used interchangeably when we're just talking, but medically they actually have quite different meanings. So your mobility is your ability to move through the full range of motion. So in the context of our sport, the rowing positions that we want to be able to achieve. Let's think about them. Reasonably straightforward. Can you sit at the finish with good poise, without a slumped lower back, with pressure on your feet? Can you rock forwards and get a pelvic tilt so that your shoulders are forwards of your hips? Can you then roll up the slide to full compression to the catch placement position? Can you get your shins vertical? Can you get your arms wide? And is your body able to take the strain of the load? So that's mobility. Flexibility is your ability to stretch. Can you stretch your muscles? Can you stretch your tendons? Can you stretch your ligaments? So it is possible to be mobile without being flexible. Get your head around that one. First, kicking off, how mobile are you right now? You know, what can your body do? And Marlene Royal and I did a webinar a while ago about a functional movement assessment. Now, Marlene's a trained physical therapist, and your functional movements are, how does your body move to achieve a particular position, a function? And in this webinar, which is completely free, and the reason I've put the ticker at the bottom of the screen is so if you choose, you can write down, and I will tell you later exactly how to find the webinar, and you can register yourself to watch it. But it helps you work out where you're at right now. So in it, we've got 10 separate screening exercises that you can do that are in a little ebook. So you can just print them out, take them down to the rowing club, do them with your friends. And they set out the main areas that are useful for rowing and sculling. So it doesn't matter if you're a sweep rower, it doesn't matter if you're a sculler, it doesn't matter which side you row on. All of these exercises will be useful for you to work out whether or not you can get into the positions that make for the best rowing and sculling stroke. Now, of course, in the rowing and sculling stroke, we know as we age, we have to be able to row with compromises. You've heard me use the phrase before. Rowing with compromises is pretty much a summary of what Masters rowing is all about. And the compromises you may need to make and I may need to make are going to change a little bit over time. But these are the sorts of things that are really useful if we want to make a change. So in addition to the 10 screening exercises in the functional movement assessment webinar, we run through stretches that you can do, that you can incorporate into your regular practice, that'll help you make some changes in your body for the areas where you need it. So when you do the screening exercises, which are the ones that you are better or less good at, and which are the ones that you want to change your body. Now, changing and stretching tendons and muscles and ligaments takes time. When I used to coach young people, they were between the age of 10 and 14 mostly, and you'll have growth spurts when you're at that age. And what I found was that the growth spurts were challenging for their rowing. This was because mainly your bones grow first, and then the muscles and tendons and ligaments lengthen later to match the new profile of your bones. So as a consequence, someone who could scull beautifully, before the summer holidays would come back at the end of the summer holidays. They'd done a growth spurt and they found that they couldn't rock forwards, that they couldn't no longer touch their toes, that they were quite compromised in the positions that they could get to. That was just a function of being a human being and growing as you age. Now, for us masters, that's a little different. Very few of us are growing. Most of us are getting to a point where perhaps we're shrinking. And we also may have old injuries we're nursing. We may have other issues that are related to our health and our physical well-being, which we have to accommodate in our rowing. Now, how to accommodate and set someone up in the rowing boat to suit their own physiology is a topic for another day. But getting more flexible or using flexibility stretches to improve your mobility is definitely something that we should be able to take on board. I, for one, have a particular challenge with my adductors. They are the muscles up the insides of my thighs. Each morning when I brush my teeth, I squat down to the floor and I take my elbows and I push them sideways against my knees in order to splay out my knees so that it works those muscles up the inside of my thighs. It's a reasonably small stretch. I do it every day. I'm trying to improve. So if you wanted to take on a little challenge, this is a bit of a long-term project, but it's now mid-September. You might want to take this on and roll it through from now maybe until the end of the year and see what sort of changes you can make. Now, if you're a coach, you'll find this screening assessment really useful because you can use it to screen your crews, your athletes, and then you can find out whether or not they can get into the positions that you're trying to coach. Because if they can't get into those positions, it's going to be much, much more challenging for you to coach them in the technique of rowing and sculling. So by first knowing whether or not they're physically capable, that helps you set up your crew for success, and it sets expectations, of course, on both sides. I learned a really nice little skill stretch for masters who tend to splay their knees out sideways when you roll up the slide. This isn't always just a reflection of the fact that your tummy has got in the way. That's a slightly lazy way of looking at it. It may be that you do not have the strength to hold your legs parallel. And I was taught this really interesting strengthening exercise. If you take both your fists and butt your fists together and then put them between your knees, then using your legs, squeeze gently on your fists. And that starts to strengthen the muscles on the outside of your legs, which help then to balance your legs out so that you are more able to keep your legs parallel as you go up the slide. Now, that isn't actually part of the screening assessment, but it is the sort of thing that you can go and get help with, that you can go and work on once you know your own physical capabilities and your own mobility and your own functional movement. So I encourage you to go and take a little look, find out for yourself whether this is something that's useful. And I really love you to then also have a look at whether or not this is something that's worthwhile doing for yourself. Now, if you go to the Our Programs page on the Faster Masters Rowing website, what you'll find is that on that page, there is a collection of little red buttons here. Go to the one that says free stuff, and it rolls you down the page to the free stuff section. And here in the middle is the functional movement assessment. Click on it, and then it takes you through to the registration page. And once you're there, fill out your name and address, and you'll be able then to get all of the information straight away. It's completely free. We do require you to register, though, in order to receive it. Now, I hope that's going to be useful for you, and let me know over the chat or online how it goes for you. Till next time, bye-bye.
We are part of the Rowing Chat Podcast Network. Please tell your fellow rowers about the show. If you've learned just one helpful thing from today's episode, please consider supporting the show for as little as $1 per month by visiting fastermastersrowing.com/podcast.